Today we're going to be working with this Chahin leather. Check it out. So if you're not familiar with Chahin leather, they've been tanning leather in Mexico since 1932. They make a premium product. It's really nice. I'm happy to be working with it. I've got a few rolls left of it. We don't always use it for leather patch projects. We use it for projects more like this or wallets. We're going to be making a 2-inch by 3/4 inch leather tag out of this leather, and we're actually going to make it back to back. So one side of the tag is going to have word on one side, and then we're going to have a different word on the back side. But we did want to engrave into both sides of the leather, right? So this leather here, this is a 3-ounce bridle, perfect for what we're going to be doing. We didn't want to engrave into the back side, so we're actually going to make a front side piece and a back side piece, and we're actually going to stick them together using a little jig that we created. So we'll take our front side piece. It's going to be a leather tag. It's got a little hole that's going to hang off of, and we'll put it in our jig just like that. And then we're going to create the front side piece, right? We'll flip it the other way, and they'll have adhesive on them, and they'll go in together. This having the jig will help us create it so that it's perfect. You can try and eyeball these, and every time I do, you miss one of the edges just by a little, and it looks unprofessional. So to get them just right, we created a jig. It's the exact size, and then we'll go from there. So we did create some test settings already. You can see these here where we went through different laser settings and different top coats to see how that's going to look. And you can see that these first two on the top have a little more gloss than the two on the bottom. But we picked our laser setting. We know we're going to go with the little more power so that we can pick up some of the fine stems that you'll see in the font. I don't know if you'll see it here, but I'll try and zoom in. But it makes a big difference on that W. If you look at the W, there's a really thin stem coming off to the side there. And if you look at some of the other lighter power settings, you can see it didn't really come out, right? So that's why it's important to test. If you don't test and you go to production and you produce it and you make them and you miss something like that, somebody's not going to be happy with their outcome. But we kind of like the top coat that we've got up top here, so we'll end up using this setting of 40 on our power, and then we'll end up using this top coat setting. But before we do the top coat setting, we're really gonna just barely cut into this leather, right? We're going with a rich brown leather, and one of the things that we can do to bring out the contrast, because we want it to show in the black with a fine font like they've got here, is we're actually gonna put some antique finish in it. So we've got mahogany. It's about the exact match for that material, and we're just basically gonna push it right on into the engraving, right? And then we'll wipe that off while it's wet. We'll let that dry, and then once it's dry, we'll actually coat this with Tuff Kote Clear, which you can pick up at Weaver Leather Supply, right? And that is not a high gloss. You'll get a little bit, but it's not a high gloss. If you want a high gloss, then you just want the clear coat. You can also use Resoline if you want a finish that's kind of flat or matted. You can see that's what we used on the bottom here. But for this particular application, we kind of like the top finish, so we're going to go with that.